He was trained at the University of Cape Town, where he graduated at the top of his class with a distinction in theatre, performance studies, and obtained an honours degree in drama. A leading man, if there was ever one. Let's give it up for Themba Mchunu.
Hello. How are you doing, guys? How are you doing? Fantastic. So I'm just here to share a little bit of what's happening in my world of cultural production, okay? So, but before I do that, I just want to take you a little bit into a bit of background, okay? So, this is what happened. Grade 11, I find myself in Toastmasters International speech contest, okay? And after my performance, I meet a gentleman that you see on the screen. His name is Dr. Swart. He happens to be a mining engineer, okay? So he comes up to me, he's like, hey, how are you? Oh, I'm cool. Your performance was very good tonight. I really enjoyed it. Here's my number. If you need anything about your studies, money or support, call me. Okay? So, it happens that okay, now, I grow up in Secunda, just across the road where I live, the Sasol. The same Sasol that you have here, we have a Sasol in Secunda. So, yes. So, all I grew up knowing it's about going to work at Sasol, do BSc, do BCom, do all the cool stuff, okay? So no one was talking about studying the arts at a university whatsoever. So I had to fit in within the box that had already been constructed for me, all right? Coolio. So you saw Steve Harvey, okay? I did a very exciting project with him, working as a cultural producer, and so I had to do quite a lot of cool stuff behind the scenes. So in front of the camera, we're together, but behind the scenes, I had to literally work out the whole production for that project, okay? So then it happens, I complete my studies, I go to VETS, and when I go to VETS, what do I study? BCom accounting, okay? Oh, there. So I do BCom accounting for 2 years, and then after 2 years, I realized that this is not me, man. I know, okay? So, remember, now it's 2 years. I'm left with 2 years to complete my studies, right? Then I pick up my phone. I call this gentleman you see on the screen, Edwin Krill. So he happened to be my mentor. Yeah. He happened to be my mentor, but also my sponsor. How did he become my sponsor? My mother was working for him, but my mother worked only 2 months for him before she passed on. So now my mother passes on. The following day, I'm starting my matric exams. Okay? So, cool. Then I realized that, all right, Edwin, I've been here at VETS for 2 years, and listen, I just want to change my course of study. He says, are you sure this is what you want to do? I'm like, eish. Then he says, let's look at the money that we have already spent to get you this far. And then, so you understand the financial implications of what you want to do next. We sit down, we draft everything. Then he says, you're going to sign here that you're going to complete your next degree. And I'm going to sign here that when you finish studying, you're going to pay me back what you're going to spend. Okay? Cool. So that's a detour, all right? Then I finish at VETS. I study at VETS, film and television for a year. Then the following year, I remember, hey man, I wanted to master the art of theater and performance. Then I pick up a call again. I say to Edwin, I'm actually leaving VETS. I'm going to UCT to specialize in theater and performance. So to cut the long short, I get to UCT. I finish my first degree. I graduated at the top of my class with no background in theater and performance from school. And when I finish that, I get a bursary to do my honors. But before I get a bursary to do my honors, I get a top award with a fat check. The fact check now, it puts me where? On the newspapers. Now people are calling me. We saw you on the newspaper. Where are you? What's going on? Hey. My friends I was studying with BCom Advanced, they're like, hey man, this is great, man. Hey, you're doing wonderful, okay? So, connecting the dots. I finished my studies as a theater and performance graduate. I was working already, working in radio, doing adverts, doing theater productions. Then I'm like, nah, I want to do the business of theater. I don't just want to be the guy you see in front of your television. I don't just want to be the actor you see. I want to understand the behind the scenes. What makes this actor look so good? Okay, so that's how, therefore, my career began as a cultural producer. Then I started my company called Themba Mchunu Theatre Company to purely focus on production. But obviously, I was doing other cool stuff. So what do? I connect these dots. You see all these professions there? I work with the creative team, amazing creative team. Some of those people are people who are here. As if you look at the back, there are gentlemen with the cameras, there are guys on the sound booth, there's a guy who's on the lighting desk. All of these guys are specialists in what they do. So this AV and all of this stuff that you see me talking through this, it requires a sound technician, sound engineer. Most of the time when I work with sound designers or lighting designers, it's for a specific project. Okay? We're still together? Lovely. So, over and above that, I do what I call Drum Tech, drama for science and technology. Now, remember, my mentors are people who are in the field of science and engineering, okay? But then one day I said, I love working with young people. I love imparting skill with young people. So I'm going to start a project that basically uses drama to simplify some of the most complex projects where science and mathematics is involved. So I go to rural areas, as you can see that picture there at the top. That's one of the schools I work in where there is no hall, there is no classroom that can fit all the kids in that very same space. There is no electricity, there is no running water. Okay? So then I use drama to inspire them to follow their careers that they want to follow. It's not for me to convert them into theater and performance, actors, and so on, but it is to inspire that they can follow any career that they want to follow. But pretty much the project focuses on science and technology. We use theater as a method, as a mode to inspire the next future generation of scientists. All right? So also, the cool stuff is that in what I do, there's what we call cultural diversity. I work with companies. My first ever client that paid me quite a lot of money, it was Mercedes-Benz South Africa. Okay? So I did a cool project with Mercedes-Benz South Africa, and we were focusing on what we call leadership evaluation and development. All right? So that's what we do, cultural diversity, which allows organizations to really dive into the issues of cultural diversity within their organization. So what you see here, it's also about international collaborations. So I work with other musicians, I work with other cultural producers across the continent, overseas as well. Here I was in New Orleans, okay? In the city of New Orleans, all right? So there was a cultural project that we were doing, so I had an opportunity to go there and also do cultural exchange. Right. You know this guy. So I said to Rasta, we were doing a project in Durban. I was the manager for arts and culture in the city of Durban, and then we brought in Rasta to work with us. Then I said to Rasta, Rasta, don't do this thing when I'm dead. Do it now so I can see how my portrait is going to look like. So with this one, I just want to say to you, you can do performance studies, you can do visual arts, it's up to you. But at the end of the day, you have the choice to decide what you want to do, all right? Lastly, these are the projects that I do. I've already told you about Themba Mchunu Theatre Company, what we specialize in, which is about igniting the workforce, get your workforce to do the amazing stuff behind the scenes. Then I've got Amagwinya RSA, which is a project I recently started, which basically wants to commercialize Igwinya. So igwinya shouldn't be the thing that you only eat ekoneni, at the taxi rank and so on. We are taking igwinya to the world. So that's my next project. With that, I want to say to you, cool.
Okay, before you run away, does anybody have questions?
Themba, questions? No questions? Okay, one question.
Hi, I wanted to know, like, how did you feel when you met Steve Harvey?
I felt very good. It was a dream come true for me, okay? I never thought I would meet him, but precisely to answer your question, it's a whole lot of work that happened behind the scenes that allowed me an entry point to meeting, but not meeting. Remember here, I was working with him, not only meeting. So it was like,
Does anybody else have a question for him?
I wanted to ask, when you were doing theater and when you were in uni,
Yeah.
like was it a theory or practical based type of study? Like was it
Yeah.
theory or practical, or was it both theory and practical?
okay. So she's asking when I was doing theater and performance, was it practical or theory and all of that? It's pretty much 98% practical. So that's the reason why I wanted to switch from studying BA theater, film and television, because that's quite a lot of theory, etc. Then you go into the studio, you do all the other stuff. But my focus was mainly to perform. So I wanted to understand the intricacies of a performer. So I went to UCT, to pretty much where you live and breathe being on stage Monday to Sunday.